Hello and welcome to Sport Intellect. And today we are going to be reviewing the match between Sunrise Hyderabad and Delhi Capitals. We'll be looking at some of the matchups, how the ground has performed, how Sunrise Hyderabad's team has performed throughout the IPL, Delhi Capitals as well in their performance, and what are the issues that these two teams will be hoping to counter tomorrow. My name is Jared, and let's get started right away. So, before we begin, before anything, Sunrise Hyderabad is a number nine spot. No one expected that. Everyone was talking about how beautifully this team was set up in the post the auctions. They were very well balanced. They had gotten every issue covered. They had gotten a new coach under Brian Lara, but this team has genuinely struggled. And I think one of the reasons for that has been the lack of tactical astuteness. They've failed many a times when it comes to tactics. They've had some big losses. Compare that to Delhi Capitals. Now, this is something that people did expect, I would have to say. Rishabh Pant is a huge miss, and even more so in their middle order, their batting is completely looked out of sorts, and their bowling has been unimpressive as well. And that's the reason why they're number 10. Let's begin by looking at Sunrise Hyderabad, the home team today, and how their performance has been in the IPL so far. They've played six matches and they've lost four of them. That's been their issue. They've not been able to get going. They've had two losses, then two wins and two losses, and it's been an on and off. It's been an on and off season for them. Aiden Markram, their captain, joined late, and after that they did end up losing. But then two matches winning. When they won their two matches, it seemed like something is going to start. Something exciting is building. But then again, they ended up losing two more to MI and CSK. Now they are at a perilous position in number nine with 4 points, but it's a very tight IPL, so you never know how things might happen in the future. Look at Delhi Capitals on the other hand, it's been shambolic. The new coaching system under, rather, new director of cricket, sort of Ganguly, along with the likes of Ricky Ponting, who's done an excellent job with his team, and James Hopes, Shane Watson. They've not been able to get anything going. David Warner, the new captain this time around, has also struggled to get this team some wins. The last win, though, after a long wait, came against KKR, where they won by 4 wickets. But hoping that they do get a momentum out of this and continue to build from there. Now let's look at the ground that we're going to play, that the match is going to be played at. It's Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium, the home ground of Sunrisers Hyderabad since their inception. However, there's a slight change in how the stadium is behaving. Now, Sunrise Hyderabad is known to be able to build a team around this ground, being a Pacers paradise. That's not how this ground has played out this time around. It's been a lot drier. It's not been easy. The ball has not come onto the bat. And that's the reason why I think the likes of Mayank Markande, Akshar Patel, and Kuldeep Yadav will come into picture. And all three of them have looked in tremendous form. We're hoping that Washington Sundar also comes back to some semblance of form. Just a few things about this ground. Now, today, what's expected in Hyderabad is 40% precipitation and pretty decent. I mean, a hot day, you would have to say 30 to 33 degrees Celsius. Traditionally, when the team has won the toss, they've elected to field first, and that's the reason for that because teams batting second have won 38 matches, while team batting first has only won 29. The average score in the last 5 T20 years has been 178, but it is bound to change because of the dryness of the surface. Now let's look at the probable 11 for Sunrisers Hyderabad. So Sunrise Hyderabad most likely to go with this 11. Probably the only change that I see is the change in the batting order, where Mayank Agarwal might come to bat instead, might come to bat a little late, and Abhishek Sharma might open with Harry Brooks, try and build an aggressive partnership. But the one issue for them will be how does Harry Brook face a dry surface like tomorrow. Harry Brook has genuinely struggled against the likes of spin bowling, and that's not something that is very new. It is something that has always gone on with him. It's an issue that people have really discovered against him. And if you just look at this year in the Indian Premier League, it's been a struggle for him. And just looking at it against leg spinners, he's been dismissed twice. He's got an average of 11.5 and a strike rate of 109. Against off spinners, he's got only a strike rate of 100, yet to be dismissed, but only a strike rate of 100. And left arm off spinners, that is left arm orthodox, he's got a strike rate of 33.3, which means the likes of leg spinners really trouble him. Also, another thing that genuinely does trouble him is left arm medium. Now that could be interesting if the likes of Natarajan do end up playing tomorrow because we're an average of 10 against them and a record of 90.9. So interesting how that goes on. Marco Jansen also will come into picture. So again, how that goes tomorrow is going to be interesting. Marco Jansen though is playing for the Sunrise Hyderabad team. Just to correct myself there. Now, if you look at the batting, the biggest issue for them is Harry Brooks once again. He scored a century. He is the leading run getter, but the major issue for them is that he's only scored 156 runs, out of which one match he scored a century, which means he scored a less than 56 in 5 matches. His strike rate is also 136.84, largely affected by that century he had scored. Again, Rahul Tripathi, the second highest run getter, again has struggled. There was this one match where he ended up scoring against the Punjab Kings. He scored 74 runs, but after that, he's only scored 145, which means half of his runs came in one match. Again, striking 119, not really looking good. Aiden Markram has done a decent job striking at 157, average of 30. Decent job, you would have to say. Again, but then beyond him, only Heinrich Klaassen is the one batter that I think has held his own. Again, 181 strike rate, 34 average, very good performance I would have to say so far. Mayank Agarwal, another player they have brought in to try and bolster their batting, especially their opening, not at all looked in form. His average of 19, strike rate of 106, definitely not worth the salt or not worth what Mayank Agarwal, the talent that Mayank Agarwal has. So another issue for them is their batters being not in form. It's probably the one factor which has let them down time and time again. So that is a place where they need improvements in, major improvements in. Even Abhishek Sharma hasn't really inspired anything yet. Average of 16, strike rate of 139. He can improve as a youngster. Probably the pressure should be on some of the senior players to do a lot better. Now, if you look at their bowling, what most likely we're supposed to expect is Washington Sundar. Rather, Washington Sundar will be there in the second half of their batting lineup as well. Average of 9, strike rate of 80, not good enough. Also, if you look at his bowling performances, that's another place where the issues have really crept up. He's yet to really put in. He's yet to really get something going when it comes to bowling as well. So again, he has also been slightly underutilized, I would say, in terms of being a bowler. So remains to see how that goes about it, or how that is going to happen, or how Washington Sundar is going to be used, because he's a key player for them, and he needs to really step up, especially with the bat. Marco Jansen, another player who was considered to be an out and out all rounder, he's yet to really show that he can. He's got an average of 30, by the way. He's only played 2 innings, but he's striking only 107. And when he's coming on to play, you need him to play a lot at a higher strike rate, even if his average falls slightly. I think that's something they won't mind. When it comes to wicket, Mayank Markanday has looked really good. He's been the pick of the bowlers, 8 wickets, average of 12.5. That is absolutely staggering. On the other hand, Marco Jansen has run a very good job. He's picked 6 wickets at an average of 22.17. But the issue with him is his economy rate. When it comes to his economy rate, he has traveled. He's traveled at 9.5. That's something he needs to improve. But considering his strike rate is 14, I think it's still okay. It's still understandable. It's okay if he goes for runs as long as he's taking wickets at that strike rate. Umran Malik too, he's got a very good strike rate, but he's traveling at 10 runs per over. But that's very Umran Malik like thing to do. I hope he continues to get wickets because that's the kind of bowler he is. The biggest issue though has been Natarajan. He was their death bowler when he was before he was injured. He's now going at an economy of 10.56, average of 47. That is really hurting them. Abdul Samad is most likely to be their impact sub. Probably it's going to be a swap between Abdul Samad and Umran Malik, depending on whether they bat first or ball first. Abdul Samad has also not been very impressive with the bat, because you have to look at it in a way that he does come in very late as well. He's got an average of 62, yes, but he's only got an strike rate of 114. That's the one place he really needs to improve upon. Looking at Delhi Capitals and their probable 11, let's Most likely they're going to continue with the same 11, but there are huge glaring issues here. So let's start with the biggest issue, that is their batting. David Warner has looked very good. He has been very good touch. He scored 285 runs, got an average of 47.5. Yet, strike rate, once again, 120.76. I understand that Delhi has been a tough place to play at, but David Warner is not a player who's going to strike at 120. He's someone who at least will strike at 145, 140. That has been lacking. And I think the issue with that is not because he is struggling as much as the team around him is really fallen apart. He's been needed to, guide the team to a reasonable target. And just look at the team. Akshar Patel, barring him, he's got an average of 29, strike rate of 148. But just remove him aside and look at the rest of the team. Manish Pandey has got an average of 24.25. He's only scored 97 runs. And there are only two batters, by the way, who have scored 140, who scored above 100. That is Akshar Patel and David Warner in 6 matches. On the other hand, Manish Pandey, as I've already said, he has been on and off, but he's done a decent job compared to the rest. Lalit Yadav, the second highest run getter, has only scored 48 runs at an average of 16, second of 114. He comes into the lower order. Striking at 114 is not enough for a lower order batter. Also, another huge problem for them, Prithvi Shaw. 7.83 as a top order bat is not enough strike rate, and it's not enough an average. And a strike rate at 117.5, it's been really embarrassing to say the least for a talent like Prithvi Shaw. He needs to work, he needs to get back in form for this Delhi Capitals team to look a lot better. Issue for them has also been some of the players that they've inducted into this team. Like Riley Russo, 14.67, not enough for an average. He's only got 3 matches. I don't know if he'll get another chance or not. Roman Powell, average of 2.33. Again, not good enough. They've tried Mitchell Marsh for 4 matches. He had missed 2 matches due to his wedding. He also has got a returns of 1.5 as an average, 33.3 as strike rate. So that is something that is really concerning. Phil Salt was added in the last match, couldn't really get going. Again, a worry because I don't know how he will handle spin. That is one issue that we've seen in some of the foreign players who've impressed otherwise when they come into the Indian Premier League. How do they handle spin? Now, Phil Salt has generally struggled across leagues against leg spinners. He's got an average of only 18. Even though his strike rate is high against all spinners, that's one thing that might trouble him. Now, Delhi does not have a genuine leg spinner, but they do have a left arm Chinaman or a left arm leg spinner. Now, against left arm leg spinners, he's been dismissed thrice in 8 innings and a strike rate of 154. So he could be, but again, now leg spinner when it comes to it, Mayank Markanday could be a player. Mayank Markanday could be that one player they might look to target against the likes of Phil Salt. He's been dismissed 23 times in 56 innings against right arm leg break. So that's going to be exciting to see how that works out. So that is their batting. Their bowling is again not as bad as their batting. Kuldeep Yadav has done a very good job. But what really worries me is the likes of Andrik Nokia. He has been traveling at a lot when it comes to his bowling average. I think his bowling average has been one of the worst when it comes to it. He has been doing a decent job at 8.45, but his bowling average is 42.25. Strike rate of 30. He's a bowler who consistently takes wicket for this team. Used to, but he needs to get that mojo back. Also, the replacements of Mukesh Kumar has not really come good. Ishan Sharma is one bright spot in the last match. He won the man of the match, took 2 wickets as well. Now, can he continue that similar impact? Remains to be seen. Let's look at some of the key matchups now that are going to be coming up tomorrow. Start with what goes well for Sunrisers Hyderabad. Sunrise Hyderabad, Rahul Tripathi has struggled, as I've already mentioned. Now, Ishan Sharma and Kuldeep Yadav are the two bowlers that he likes to face. Sunrisers will be hoping that he finally comes good and gets things done here because against Kuldeep Yadav, he's got an average of 34. His ex teammate at Kolkata Knight Riders, he's got an strike rate of 242.9 as well. Ishan Sharma has never dismissed Rahul Tripathi, and he's got a strike rate of 200 against Ishan Sharma. So these are the two bowlers that Rahul Tripathi will look to target tomorrow. Looking at another very, very favorable matchup, Bhuvneshwar Kumar against the likes of Prithvi Shaw and Manish Pandey. Against Prithvi Shaw, 17.5 is the average and 100 is a strike rate. Twice he's been dismissed, but 17.5 looks really good compared to what Prithvi Shaw has been getting up to this IPL. Can he reverse this tomorrow? Remains to be seen. Manish Pandey too has had a bad history against Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Dismissed 4 times, strike rate of 105.3 and an average of only 5. Now, Abdul Samad surprisingly is has been very good against the likes of Andrik Nokia. 263.6 is his strike rate. Never been dismissed, and it's a sizable amount as well. Abdul Samad has scored 29 runs in 11 deliveries that he faced. So to do that, Abdul Samad will be a key player for Sunrisers, especially because he comes lower down the order during that last few overs, which Andrik Nokia might end up bowling. Mayank Agarwal again against Ishan Sharma. Again, a player that Sunrisers needs to come back to form. He has got a strike rate of 185.7. Never been dismissed by Ishan Sharma. He's faced 21 deliveries off of him and scored 39 runs. So that is going to be an interesting matchup as well. Let's flip the tables now and look at David Warner versus Umran Malik. David Warner has got an average of 23, but that's because he's never been dismissed by Umran Malik in the 11 deliveries that he's faced, and has got a second of 209.1. So that is going to be another interesting series of events if they do end up. But I think Umran Malik might not ball in the power play. So will David want to survive the power play? That is going to be a huge question mark tomorrow. Akshar Patel loves facing Bhuvneshwar Kumar. Bhuvneshwar Kumar has not been in form. Akshar Patel is in form. Average of 38, strike rate of 181, only been dismissed once. But here are a few things that you need to consider. The ball might reverse tomorrow, might reverse swing tomorrow because of the rough nature of the pitch. We saw Mumbai Indians get some reverse swing. Cameron Green, Arjun Tendulkar were able to shape the ball away. Even the likes of Jason Bandorf are getting the ball to shape away or shape in. So interesting to see how that goes on tomorrow. Whether Akshar Patel will be able to counter if there's any reversing available. Well, having said that, this is pretty much it. We've covered all the matchups, everything, ground conditions. We hope that you've liked the video. If you do, please subscribe the channel and also give us a like and let us know what can we talk about next. Thank you guys for joining at Sport Intellect. This is Jaren Abram signing off. Thank you.